There he is. Hello everyone, Emiel Brock here, Friday Ketchup new style. And that means Christopher is not here, but I do have a fantastic guest, and that is Brian Fromme. And the music you just heard, Brian, can you, before you introduce yourself, tell me what we were listening to?
That's a tune I wrote about 10 years ago called You and Me. And I write a lot of music. It's sort of something I've always done. And I publish music in an open source model. And it's just it's sort of an experiment, really. I just believe in open source and I believe in sharing. And so a number of years ago, maybe 8 years ago, I went in the studio, recorded some music, and decided to just push it to the internet and publish it for free because it just made sense to try to share the music. So that's what I've done with that too.
Oh, that's cool. So actually, we also have open source music today as a topic. Okay, Brian, hey, thank you very much for joining. Last week I sent out an invite to everyone to let yourself be heard if you would like to take part in the Friday Ketchup new style. And you came almost instantly to me and you said, I would like to be in the Friday Ketchup. What's the main reason that you want to be part of this and have a conversation with the Friday Ketchup audience?
Sure. Well, I mean, the first thing is just you and the energy you put into this. And it's great to have a vehicle to communicate what we work on, and more than just what we work on, the community that we live in. And so I was sad to see that things were changing, and I just thought you need energy of other people. And that's again another piece of the open source world is when something needs doing, people from across the world get involved and pitch in. And so I felt like, well, I can do that.
Wow, awesome. And you said across the world, where are you based? Where is that beautiful office with the tux and all the chameleons behind you?
Right. I live in Fort Collins, Colorado, which is north of Denver, and I always like to joke it's not really a fort, but
it still works. I heard it for the first time now, so it works for me.
Middle of the country, though, right near the Rocky Mountains. So we have great skiing and center in the United States.
Yeah, wow, okay. And besides open source music, as you explained, and your ambition and working for SUSE, what do you do? What do you do at SUSE?
Sure. So I work in our Alliance team, and I'm focused on hardware partners. So we work with the largest hardware vendors in the world, and they sell our software, our technologies. And there's a lot that goes into what it takes for them to be able to do that. Of course, we have to do the back end work to get these products on their price list and to help them understand how to go to market with those products, how what we do fits with what they do. And then there's the whole field motion of how do we educate their field so that they're aware of who SUSE is, not only what we do, but what our technologies are, how they engage with those technologies, bring those technologies to their customers, and eventually how they sell them.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that sounds really cool. And can you give an example, one of the things that you've achieved in this role in the past?
Sure. So I have a interesting kind of dual role of technical and business development. And I like that because it uses a lot of my skills, and it's not just one side of me, it's many sides of me. So one example is we realized that our customers understand containers, but interestingly, the field organizations in our partners, maybe they don't understand container technology so well. So one of the things that our team did, not just me, but it was kind of me driving the activity, is to build a container workshop so that our field organizations in our hardware partners could better understand the technology, so when customers come to them, they have a much broader understanding of what their customers are asking for and how they could then turn around and sell SUSE products.
Wow, that sounds really cool. And I also am very curious for your role. What's your ambition? Where would you like to be, let's say, in 1 year with this great thing that you're doing among those hardware vendors?
Sure. Well, of course, my goals really align with SUSE goals, and SUSE really charted a course to help our customers simplify, modernize, and accelerate their work. And that will launch us towards an ambitious goal of driving revenue. And so, really, a big piece of what I do is to focus on how do we drive revenue through our partner channels. So, not just how do we teach our partners so that they can go do it, but how do we influence them so that they sell more. And that's a very complicated puzzle, right? It's not something as easy as saying, we want you to sell more, and they say, great, got it, selling more. We have to influence and show value across the board. And we've got a new partner program, the SUSE One partner program. It was launched this year, and that's very exciting. Your work is part of this as well.
Absolutely.
So that's a big piece of this, simplifying the whole motion for our customers, not for all our partners, not just our hardware partners, but making it easier for them to engage with us and providing value to them.
Yeah, that's actually a really good thing. One thing we could talk about in the Friday Ketchup as well, another time, because we want to keep them within a certain limit of time. But the SUSE One partner program, that's really awesome as well. We're really empowering our partners in many different ways. And as you said, I'm part of the train, so SUSE One train program. So all the customers and partners that need to be trained are dealt with by my team.
Right. And training is just one of the pillars of the program. There's levels of the program, silver, gold, and platinum, and then there's these 6 pillars of different kind of personas almost, if you will, of the types of partners who engage with us. And those are build, innovate, sell, manage, service, and train. And those are just, again, some partners, the biggest IHVs, hardware partners, do most of those activities, whereas some companies are just resellers and they focus on the sell motion. So, the partner program is redesigned to really fit better with organizations that need something special from SUSE, and that we provide key value to them for that activity.
Wow, okay, that sounds really cool. Well, I really want to thank you already for your great contribution and for reaching out to me. The invite as well to everybody who's watching the Friday Catch-up. If you have something regarding open source, regarding training, regarding empowering people, regarding inclusivity, actually early to this evening, it's now 9:30 in the evening here, but before dinner I had a meeting with the SUSE Pride group. So we have SUSE Pride group within SUSE. We have a SUSE Women in Tech and a SUSE Go Green, and all great initiatives driven by SUSE people ourselves. And now what I really like about this meeting we just had with Pride is that it was already a nice mixture between people from SUSE and Ranger, and now being together in one new and bigger and stronger group.
I definitely agree with that. And, we've quickly merged, and I like to think of it almost like a merger. Many acquisitions are one company acquiring another, and it doesn't feel that way to me. It feels very much like a merger of very similar companies, similar technologies, similar ethos around open source. And lots of smart people really driving innovation in the marketplace, and that's really fun and exciting. So when we come together and work with these teams, it's just wonderful. It's like they work with us just immediately, and we work with them immediately. So
wow! Oh, really cool.
And you mentioned, open source is kind of dear to you as well. And it applies to lots of things beyond just software development these days. And I think that's really exciting.
Well, talking about the wider aspect than open source software, when we are looking at the world right now with the vaccine, one of the things that my wish is for this year, and just before we started recording now, I actually saw on the news that there is a sort of cooperation between two pharmaceutical companies. But my dream is that the vaccine, or the combination of the vaccines, that those pharmaceutical companies and universities working on a vaccine would work together in an open source way so that now with the variation, we call it the UK variation or the South African or the Brazilian variations, all sorts of variations on the virus, that all those pharmaceutical companies would work together and create one strong and learn from each other, just like open source companies do and will do in the future. But I'm afraid that the pharmaceutical industry is far away from that, but nevertheless, it's my dream. Do you feel the same about this initiative and this way of thinking for the pharmaceutical industry?
I definitely do. I have been in open source for a very long time, and I'm again, the ethos and the community direction of the way, it's a very social kind of movement, and I think that's why I like to talk about it as being much broader than just software development. Of course, it started in software development, but as you mentioned, science, in a way, science was doing open source long before open source development was doing open source. I like to think of, I'm very into learning about physics, even though I only have a bachelor's degree in mathematics and I can't quite cope with the PhD level math. But Einstein published his general theory on general relativity, and Carl Schwarzschild picked up what he had done and began calculations and quickly came to the realization that there could be something like a singularity out of this theory.
Yeah.
And it really bothered Einstein in the beginning because he thought, well, that can't possibly be. We don't see any of these things. Well, now we know that singularity is a black hole, right? And so, that's the way science has moved over millennia to really spread information. And I love what you're saying. I think it's true today with social problems that we, as a society, really need to attack. And we need to cooperate to attack those problems. And so, I think SUSE is a model for that in the way we apply what we do more to, not just to our work and then to making money, but also to the people, and not just to our people, but to the society. So
All right, Brian, I think it's time to close up, but I really want to thank you for your contribution. And now you, of course, have the honor to make a contribution to the open source Friday Ketchup playlist on Spotify. And when I think about SoundCloud, what you are working with, actually we should have SoundCloud as well. But to keep it simple, what is your contribution to the Friday Ketchup playlist?
Oh, great. So, like you mentioned, I could push you some of my music that I've written, but I was also interested in pushing my favorite set of jazz musicians. I'm kind of a jazz geek. And so one tune that I really love is a tune that was actually written, and they collaborate in the same way, written by a guitar player named Pat Metheny, and played by a set of the top people in the industry, Chick Corea and Gary on piano, and Gary Burton on vibraphone, and Roy Haynes on drums, and Pat Metheny on the guitar, of course. So this tune that I pointed you at is called Question and Answer.
Question and Answer.
Fitting title for our little discussion here today.
Question, and let me get that song here. Question and Answer. Gary Burton, right?
That's right.
Yeah. All right. I'll play this song while we say goodbye to the world. And again, thank you so much. Keep on doing the good work for open source. And I love hearing a lot more about what you and your team are doing at SUSE. Thanks a lot. And everybody at home, thanks. Please like, subscribe, and the whole shebang. And see you next week. Here we go. The song you hear now will be on the Friday Ketchup playlist. Wow. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Emiel. And what's your son's name? I missed his name.
Luc. His name is Luc.
Okay, thank you very much for recording us today.
You're welcome.